In the heart of a noisy African city, where dust and dreams dance in the wind, lived a boy named Tobi. He owned nothing, no shoes, no family, no home, only the whispers of the wind, his oldest and truest friend. Each morning, Tobi carried firewood through the market streets. When others laughed at his torn clothes, he simply smiled and listened, because when Tobi listened closely, the wind spoke back. High above the city stood a grand mansion, home to Mr. Adanna, a man with gold enough to feed a kingdom, but a heart heavy with worry. His daughter, Adanna, was beautiful, brilliant, and stubborn. "I don't need school. My father owns everything." She threw her books, slammed her door, and filled her home with pride and noise. But even in that silence between her shouts, a small voice waited, the voice of a lesson yet to come. One dusty afternoon, as Tobi gathered his scattered firewood in the street, a long convoy of shining cars came to a stop before him. A rich girl stepped out, eyes full of pride. "Adanna," scoffing, "watch where you're going." "Bush boy." Tobi, humbly, "Sorry, Ma. The wind carried them before I could." She rolled her eyes, but that moment was when two worlds quietly touched. Days later, Mr. Adanna traveled to a nearby village. There, he saw a small boy fixing a broken pipe with old tins and sticks. It was Tobi, the same boy his daughter had mocked, and something in the boy's calm spirit moved him. Mr. Adanna, thoughtful, perhaps. "This boy can teach what my riches cannot." And so, Tobi's journey to the mansion began. Inside that glittering mansion, the air grew tense. Adanna mocked Tobi, hid his food, and laughed when he stumbled, but he never fought back. He simply whispered to the wind, "Tobi, softly, the wind told me. Storms destroy only themselves when they roar too long." And though Adanna did not understand his words, something inside her began to quiet down. That night, under a tall tree in the garden, Tobi sat alone, listening. Wind sound intensifies slightly. He whispered secrets into the air, and the wind danced like an old friend answering back. From behind the flowers, Adanna watched him, the boy who spoke to the wind, and for the first time, she felt peace. The next afternoon, Adanna's golden kite soared too high, and got trapped in a tree. Servants failed to free it. She screamed in anger, but Tobi just smiled. "Tobi, the wind can lift or break what we hold too tightly." He climbed the tree, retrieved the kite, and handed it to her gently. And in that small act of kindness, Adanna's heart took its first breath of humility. By the riverside, Tobi showed her how to skip stones. She failed again and again. Adanna, frustrated, "Why won't it work?" "Tobi, because the wind is restless. Wait for it to be still." She listened, waited, threw again, and smiled as the stone danced over the water. Patience had found her at last. That night, the sky split open, winds roared, lightning flashed, and the mansion trembled. When a heavy branch fell, Tobi ran without fear, shielding Adanna with his small frame. Silence followed the storm. The next morning, Adanna sat by his side, whispering into the wind, "Adanna, tearful, please. Don't take him, wind." The wind replied softly, carrying her tears away. By sunrise, Tobi opened his eyes. Mr. Adanna stood speechless, watching his daughter feed the boy who had saved her life. "Adanna, he taught me that strength isn't in shouting. It's in listening." Mr. Adanna, and wisdom can wear torn clothes, and in that mansion where pride once ruled, the wind whispered of peace. Months passed. Adanna and Tobi now walked side by side, schoolbags on their backs, laughing as the wind danced between them. "Adanna, Tobi, what does the wind say today?" Tobi, smiling, "It says, we're finally listening." And so the boy who spoke to the wind taught a family and a city that true wisdom is not shouted, but whispered to those who listen. Moral lesson: in every storm, there is a whisper. Those who listen find peace. Those who chase the wind find themselves.